First of all, there's two concepts that are very unique to this kind of offense, and one is nice guy acquaintance offenders, and the other is compliant victimization. And the bridge between those two is grooming. Okay, so let's talk about nice guy offenders. People have, and we've long talked about stranger danger. Everybody who talks about these kinds of cases uses the word predator or monster or evil. The problem with that is these offenders, and there are many, 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 many more of these than there are monster predators and stranger danger kinds of offenders. They make up a small percentage of the actual offenders in this country. The vast majority of children who are victimized by people they know. People that we hand them over to, or people they love, people in their own family. So we have to be realistic about that. So the nice guy offender is somebody who, to the community, he grooms the community by doing nice things. He does nice things for children. He pays them attention, affection, makes them feel special, and that's how he ingratiates himself with the child. He aims it also at the parents and guardians and at the community that surrounds them. That's the nice guy offender side of it. Grooming is basically a bunch of innocent-looking behaviors that actually create a bond between other people and himself, and actually throw up sort of a smokescreen or create a blind spot around him. Because when people are looking for monster predators, they look right past the guy that's in front of them because he's smiling and he's nice and he's kind and he's helpful. That's what they think he's actually helping kids. Then we're talking compliant victimization, and this is probably the most counterintuitive one of them all. It's something Paterno probably asked himself. If Sandusky was doing all this for all these years, why haven't any of these kids come forward? Not one came forward. Nobody came out and said anything about it. And it's because, especially boy victims of a male sex offender, they don't want to talk about this. I was victimized myself as a kid. I didn't talk about it for 10 years. I didn't report it to anybody because, well, I went to actually the priest in my high school and he told me, I forgive you for your sins, don't say anything more about this. So then I didn't say anything for 10 years until I actually got involved and started an investigation into the case against the guy who offended against me. But anyway, what happens is there's a whole bunch of dynamics: shame, guilt, embarrassment, and the threat to your manhood or sexuality. All those things are reasons in addition why male victims don't come forward. And what happens is they become compliant in their victimization in that the offender is giving them things that they need as children. They need nurturing. He's taking advantage of that.
Or tickets to things.
Or tickets to things, or exciting adventures, or just attention, or just the basics of life. It could span a spectrum of things. And what happens is that you have now a boy who is vulnerable and needy, and now for the first time they're feeling special. The first time they're getting their needs met. And at the same time, they realize, now it's usually slowly over a period of time where he tests the waters, which Sandusky did very well. He tries to hide his behavior in other things, like he put his hand on their knees and see if they knocked it off, and if they did, he'd do it again and again until they stopped knocking it off, and then he'd take it further and further and further, and he'd wrestle around with them, during wrestling matches, and he'd tuck them in at night and blow on their stomachs, and getting closer and closer to sexual activity. And I see you're making faces, and it's difficult to hear.
It's just like
it's difficult for everybody to hear. But unless we talk about it, we're gonna have more kids who are victimized. So what ends up happening, and we call it compliance.
It's just that he was so systematic, that sort of
But he did that in private.
Yeah.
He was very careful to do that part in private. But all the altruistic things he did in public. Joe Paterno saw this man doing thousands of things, thousands of interactions where he raised money for kids. He encouraged kids with difficulties. He helped them. I mean, they say Second Mile helped 100,000 children over those years, and he personally probably 10,000. He fostered over 24 children. He adopted 6 children. Everybody was looking at that as a great thing. Today, we know what it really was. This is his hunting ground. He used Second Mile to hunt for children. They did all the work for him. They brought the kids to him. So when we say they're compliant victims, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It means that they're developmentally immature and they were manipulated into a relationship where they actually said they would put up with the victimization because they're getting their needs met. And some of them wish they could get out of it.
But they had to be groomed, though, to become
They were groomed
compliant.
into that.
Okay, all right.
And if you don't even talk about grooming in this report, if you don't even mention nice guy offenders, if you don't even understand compliant victimization, then how could you understand McQueary's behavior? How can you understand Paterno's behavior?
Hi everyone, I'm Allison Weiner, and I'm here to announce a new contest. We're going to be giving away 2 iPad minis this time. One for the best commenter, and also one for a new subscriber. So the contest will end on March 17th. Be sure to start commenting. We appreciate your comments so much that we're giving away an iPad mini. We look forward to hearing from you, and just keep watching because we got a lot of good shows coming up. Thanks so much.